Welcome to Debate Overview. Most of you already engage in some form of debate in the form of persuasion. In a casual debate, your goal might be to persuade a parent that something is either valuable or worthless, so you present your arguments to support your opinion, thus persuading your parent to agree with you. This form of casual debate can happen with a teacher, a friend, a boss or supervisor, and even with yourself. Formal debate can take on multiple formats, but the two most common formats are the team policy debate and the Lincoln-Douglas debate. Each type requires a different skill set to debate successfully. They also have a set of rules and guidelines to help encourage the debaters to demonstrate ethical behavior and courtesy during the debate. Let's look at what the debate formats have in common. Any debate will have two sides, a proposition side and an opposition side. The job of the proposition side is to advocate the adoption of the resolution, while the job of the opposition side is to refute the resolution. The resolution can take many forms depending on the format, but in most cases, the resolution is simply a statement of policy or a statement of value. The statement always begins by using the phrase, "be it resolved." Some examples include, "Be it resolved that when in conflict, the right to a fair trial ought to take precedence over freedom of speech. Be it resolved that the federal government should adopt a comprehensive long-term agricultural policy in the United States," etc. Usually, there is also a judge present in the debate whose job is to decide the winner. Now let's take a quick look at what makes each format different, beginning with team policy debate. The proposition side is called the affirmative, or AF, and the opposition side is called the negative, or neg. Each side is a team composed of two debaters, so that there are 4 people participating in the debate. A round of team policy debate consists of 8 speeches. The first 4 speeches are called constructive speeches, because the teams are laying out or constructing the strongest arguments during these speeches. The last 4 speeches are called rebuttals, because the teams are expected to extend and apply arguments that have already been made and not make new ones. Take a look at this graphic illustrating the 8 speeches. There are 2 things of interest in this structure. First, the affirmative team both begins and ends the debate. Second, the negative team has 2 speeches in a row. The first negative rebuttal, or NR, immediately follows the second negative constructive, or NC. In general, the members of each team alternate giving speeches. The style of team policy debate is distinct and focused on evidence gathering and organizational ability. Persuasiveness is not considered important, or at least not as important as covering ground and reading plenty of evidence. Debaters talk at extremely high speeds, reading out the contents of page after page of evidence, gasping for breath between points, and using lots of jargon. There is very little discussion of values such as freedom, justice, equality, etc. Now let's take a brief look at the Lincoln-Douglas debate format. Lincoln-Douglas debate began as a reaction to the excess of team policy debate. The idea was to have a debate focused on discussing the merits of competing ethical values in a persuasive manner. The famed debates between senatorial candidates Abraham Lincoln and Stephen A. Douglas in the 1850s inspired the name and format for this style of debate. This is a one-on-one debate, and as in team policy debate, the proposition and opposition teams are called the affirmative, or AF, and the negative, or neg. A round of Lincoln-Douglas debate consists of 5 speeches and 2 cross-examination periods. Take a look at this graphic illustrating the 5 speeches. Notice that the affirmative has more speeches than the negative, but both have the same total speaking time of 13 minutes. Resolutions in Lincoln-Douglas debate are usually stated as propositions of value. Although the propositions are sometimes related to issues of policy, this is not always the case. The style of Lincoln-Douglas debates is unique to the speaker. It is essentially persuasive and uses evidence to prove a point, unlike in team policy debating, where the evidence is the thing. Organization is important, and arguments should follow a weaker to stronger progression so the debater ends on his or her strongest argument. And finally, the language should be direct and clearly incorporate the topic. Now let's take a look at some key skills that you will need to be successful in your debate. Each skill will be discussed in more detail in upcoming videos. First, and most important, is your research skills. Throw yourself into the specifics of the topic and look for as many examples as possible. The more reading you do on the topic and the more you think about the specifics of the resolution, the more success you will have. Find out who is writing articles on each side of the topic and get familiar with those works so that you can talk about particular authors. After you have immersed yourself in the literature of the specific topic, you need to formulate your position and speech. You will need to flow the debate or take notes so you can formulate your rebuttals and stay on topic. Beside research, flowing is probably one of the most important things to do and do well. Then, time management is important, since you are only allotted a specific amount of time for each speech. Finally, you will need to hone your crystallization skills, or your ability to summarize the reasons why you have won. Thank you for watching, and check out the videos focusing on each skill.